Hello dear viewers, history enthusiasts, and lovers of the macabre. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Shadows of Empires, where we delve into the hidden corners of the past that textbooks dare not touch. Our subject today is nothing short of mesmerizing and chilling, the darkest secrets of the Chinese Imperial Harem. Picture this, the Forbidden City, that sprawling fortress of 9,999 rooms in the heart of Beijing, a UNESCO jewel of red walls and golden eaves, but beyond its tourist-friendly facade lies the inner court. A segregated world for the emperor and his women, a gilded cage, where ambition festered like an open wound. For over 2,000 years, from the Qin dynasty's unification in 221 BC to the Qing's abdication in 1912, the harem was the pulse of Chinese power. Thousands of women empresses, consorts, maids were drafted into this vortex, their lives a precarious dance on the edge of favor or oblivion. We'll journey through time, from the poetic tragedies of the Thames, the savage purges of the Ming, to the scheming elegance of the Qing. Expect tales of slow poisonings, mass burials, drowned rivals, and ghosts that still whisper in the winds of the palaces. This is not sanitized history. This is the raw, unvarnished truth of what power demands of the flesh. If you're ready to have your worldview darkened, hit like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We release new episodes every week. Let's unlock the gates. To truly appreciate the horror, we must first map the terrain. The harem's origins trace to legendary sage kings like Yao, but it formalized under Qin Shi Huang, who standardized concubine ranks to curb feuding wives. By Han times it ballooned. Emperor Wu had 100+ ladies. Selection was a national spectacle. Provincial officials scouted villages for palace material girls, 13 to 16, healthy teeth, no moles on lips, voices like orioles. The journey to Beijing was harrowing. Chained carts, meager rations, many dying en route from dysentery or despair. Upon arrival, the color inspection, stripped, probed for virginity, feet bound in silk-wrapped torture that fused bones over years, creating the coveted 3-inch lotus gate, a hobble glorifying fragility. Eunuchs, those tragic gatekeepers, castrated pre-puberty with knives or clamps. Survival rate, 10%, numbered tens of thousands, their high voices and soft skin belying iron control. They delivered summonses, brewed teas, and spied, often enriching themselves with bribes. Hierarchy was a ladder of gold and thorns. The empress, chosen for clan alliances, wielded ceremonial power but lived in terror of deposition. Below, the 4 consorts, Guifei, Shoufei, Defei, Xianfei, then 9 concubines, down to 27 lower ranks like the Jew beautiful as jade. In Qing, it was codified into 8 classes, with quotas per banner. Daily life was a symphony of submission. For AM rise for ablutions in copper basins, cold water shocking the skin, breakfast of kanji and pickles, then hours of needlework embroidery of dragons for imperial robes or lessons in the Qin's thar, its plucks echoing melancholy. Afternoons in the imperial garden, plucking lotuses or whispering plots under willow trees. But the true test came at dusk. The emperor's pointing eunuchs announced who turns over the sign, a jade tablet flipped to signal duty. The chosen, adorned in phoenix robes, processed silently to the emperor's quarters, disrobing behind screens, performing without eye contact or utterance. Pleasure was mechanical. Emotion, dangerous. A successful night might yield a pearl hairpin reward. Failure, a slap or worse. Pregnancy was the jackpotter's meant rank jumps, but miscarriages were investigated, often with fatal results. The fallen, banished to the cold palace Lengang, a maze of leaky halls where women, hair unkempt, subsisted on gruel, their only company rats and memories. Many went mad, carving hearts on beams with stolen needles, or starving in silent protest. Eunuchs smuggled messages or lovers for fees, turning the harem into a black market of secrets. One forgotten memoir, smuggled out by a sympathetic guard, describes the cold palace as a tomb for the living, where echoes of laughter from the outer court mock our sighs. Another account from a Qing lady-in-waiting notes how the scent of osmanthus in spring only amplified the isolation. A cruel reminder of freedoms lost, these routines repeated for generations. Ground down spirits, turning potential rebels into compliant shadows. Now, armed with this grim blueprint, let's descend into the dynastic depths. Beginning with the Tang's blooming brutality, the Tang dynasty, spanning 618 to 907 was China's cosmopolitan zenith. Chang'an, a metropolis of 1 million, streets alive with Sogdian merchants, Korean scholars, and Arab glassware. Women enjoyed relative freedom, divorces, businesses, even polo on horseback, yet the harem was a counterpoint of confinement, where beauty's bloom often led to withering. Yang Guifei, 719 to 756, ranked among the 4 beauties with Cixi and Dai, entered this fray as Yang Yuhuan, a talented singer from a cultured family. Married at 16 to Xuanzang's son Shouang, she caught the emperor's eye during a 737 family banquet. Xuanzang, 52 and widowed, orchestrated her divorce and entry as a Taoist nun, symbolic purity, then elevated her to Guifei in 745. Her impact was seismic. Xuanzang abdicated daily duties, building her a mountaintop villa at Whacking Springs, where steaming pools hosted their idols, warmth thawing the world, poets wrote. Yang's figure, plump as a peach, inspired the flying fairy dance, sleeves whirling in rainbow silks, to Pipaloot. Her clan flourished. Father Yang Zhuangshuan ennobled cousin Gozhang chancellor by 753, taxing provinces dry for her 1,000 attendant entourage. But excess invites backlash. An Lushan, the 300-pound general of mixed Sogdian Turkic blood, was adopted by Yang as godson, perhaps a lover, per salacious tales gifted titles despite illiterate buffoonery. Border neglect bred resentment. 755, An rebelled with 200,000 cavalry, capturing Luoyang, then Chang'an, slaughtering the Yang clan. Gozhang beheaded, body flayed. Xuanzang's flight to Shu was a caravan of misery, 3,000 miles, typhus claiming thousands. At Moe Pass, soldiers, unpaid and starving, mutinied. The empire falls because of one woman. Xuanzang, tears streaming, nodded. Yang 37, was escorted to a roadside temple by eunuch Gao Lishi. There, in the Buddha Hall of Mercy irony, she hanged from a beam, or was strangled, her jade necklace snapping. No funeral. Purple silk shroud. Pitgrave under a pear tree branches drew paternally in folklore. Xuanzang's remorse fueled art. By Juji's Chengen Gi Song of Endless Sorrow. 806 spans 120 couplets, from their first glance to afterlife tryst, via Mount Li immortals. In heaven or earth, forever together. But history's verdict is harsher. Yang's favoritism cost 36 million lives. Tang reduced to a rump state. Secrets, temps, secret history hints at her opium haze, dulling Xuanzang to rebellion warnings. Modern scholars, poring over Dunhuang manuscripts, debate if Yang's adoption was political cover for An's ambitions or genuine affection turned sour. Either way, her death didn't save the dynasty. Civil wars raged till 763, leaving scars that never healed. Her story, retold in operas and novels, serves as a cautionary ballad of love's lethal price. No figure embodies harem ferocity like Wu Zetian 624-705. Wu's duality, monster who murdered kin, or matriarch who stabilized chaos. Her steely blank on one side invites debate. Excavations at her palace reveal hidden tunnels for spies, underscoring her paranoia. Her rule, though brief, set precedents for female regents, influencing later figures like Cixi in literature. She's the ultimate anti-heroine, her name synonymous with cunning that borders on genius. The Ming dynasty 1368-1644, founded by ex-beggar Zhu Yuan Zheng Hongwu, was a recoil from Mongol excess Confucian revival, Great Wall extensions, voyages of Zhenghe, but Honghua's harem was his dark mirror. Paranoia from peasant roots led to 30,000 executions. Women fared worse. He drafted 38,000 girls, binding feet so severely gangrene claimed legs, accompanying the mausoleum decree, on death. All consorts die strangled with white silk to preserve chastity for afterlife. 1398. Deathbed, likely 200 plus, suffocated, bodies heaped inside chambers. Scents masked by incense for weeks. Successor Jianwen vanished in Yonggle's 1402, Ku-nephew Zhu Di burned Nanjing, killing 20 brothers, 100,000 innocents. Yonggle's harem purge 1421. Consort Jin, accused of cursing via spells, triggered drowning of 2,800 in Golden Water River, waters red for days. 15 witches flayed. Skins stretched on frames as warnings. Lady Kui's peeled face, eyes gouged, displayed at gates till birds picked it clean. Yang Xuan 1425-1435, moderated, but Gentong's capture by Mongols in 1449, left regent, Empress Sun to fend off harem plots. Rival consorts, bribed eunuchs to poison her meals. Zhang. 1505-1521, thunderous in appetites, preferred tiger hunts and disguised brothel romps, abandoning 9,000 women to pen. Veritable records describe white bone roads, skeletons in corridors, survivors boiling leather belts for soup, mothers trading daughters to eunuchs for a steamed bun. Cannibalism confirmed in survivor testimonies. We ate the dead to live. Jiajing 1521-1567. Enthroned at 14, turned mystic, ignoring state for West Garden alchemy. Eunuchs and Taoists brewed Dan elixirs from mercury, sulfur, and jade essence. Menstrual blood from 300 virgins, collected in silver bowls during forced isolations. Girls do fairies, chained to altars, subsisted on rainwater and ginseng roots, convulsing from blood loss. 500 plus died, their contaminated bodies burned. Jiajing ingested daily, skin sloughing, hair falling hallucinations of immortals. 1542, Renin catastrophe. Maids hearing of Jiajing's weakness, plotted garrote. 16, armed with oiled ropes and knives, breached bedchamber at midnight. Jiajing awoke, bit through a cord, screamed. Guards swarmed. Plotters captured. Empress Fang, vengeful, decreed, linky for all, stripped. Tied to posts, executioners, sliced noses, ears, breasts, limbs, in 3,000 cuts over 10 days. Blood collected for auspicious ink, screams drew crowds. Families 300 heads rolled. One plotter's last words, better death than due. Changhua era 1464 to 1487. Lady Wang, laundress promoted 4 services, dominated from 1466. Childless, she adopted a nephew as heir, but eliminated threats. Prince Yu, infant, suffocated and consort Ji drowned in a lotus pond after ghost summoning. Wan's methods, belladonna in lip rouge, hot needles in ears. 1482 exposure by eunuch Wang Zi led to exile. 140s, poisoned herself with gold foil, emperor's gift irony. Wanli, 1572 to 1620, ascended young, but depression from heir disputes saw 30-year seclusion. Harem of 2000 festered. Lady Zheng, mother of heir, poisoned by rival Lady Wang's arsenic cakes, died foaming. Cold palace, overflowed 600 women, feral cats their companions, scratching heaven is blind on tiles. Eunuch Wei Zhangxian under Tianxi, 1622-1627 ran a castration ring, adopting boys for harem service. Ming harem death toll, 200,000 plus, per unofficial tallies. Foot binding infected 80%, eunuch corruption siphoned millions in tails. This internal gangrene weakened Ming against Manchu incursions. Archaeological digs at Ming tombs reveal mass graves of consorts, bones showing strychnine traces, a testament to the era's toxic legacy. These discoveries, unearthed in the 20th century, continue to rewrite narratives of Ming domestic terror. The Qing dynasty, 1644 to 1912, Manchu overlords who shaved heads and queued queues, adapted Ming structures with ethnic quotas 80% Han, 20% Manchu from 8 banners. Kanshi 1661 to 1722, boy emperor who quelled revolts, had 55 consorts birthing 35 sons, drafting 20,000 girls over reign. Shunzi 1643 to 1661, infatuation with Buddhist consort Dangge led to abdication, vow. Her 1660 death by fasting saw him pine a wearer, romantic end in a sea of calculation. Cixi 1835 to 1908, full name Yahanara entered as Orchid in 1852 draft. Loring Shangang for her calligraphy. Shanfang's 1852-1861 fourth consort. She bore Tangzi 1856, leaping to give. Shanfang's death left regency to 6 princes. Cixi 25 allied with brother-in-law Prince Gong, executing Sushan by Linki in 1861 revenge for slights. As co-regent, she purged. Imperial noble consort Zun Eldor suicided by hanging, body displayed as warning. Tangzi's 1875 death official smallpox. Whispers syphilis from brothels or Cixi's mercury to control installed nephew Guangxu, but Cixi retained power, vetoing edicts from her longevity palace. Enter consort Zun Jinfei Pearl, 1874 birth. Drafted 1888 at 14 for her Western eyes. Educated secretly in French and photography, she gifted Guangxu a camera, capturing clandestine meetings. As his Shufei, she co-authored 1898 100 Days Reform. Edict 1, abolished sin. Edict built factories, aiming modernization to fend off imperialists. Horrified by barbarian taint, mobilized loyalists. June 1898 coup Guangxu, drugged with opium-laced tea, confined to Yingtai Isle, fed via slot like a criminal. Zun loyal to end, smuggled notes, the dragon stirs. But chains bind, Boxer Rebellion, 1960, courting xenophobes with support foreigners, support demons rhetoric, armed peasants with spears versus guns, siege of legations, killed 200, when 8-nation alliance marched, she fled Xi'an in ox carts, jewels sewn into hymns. On return road, Zun 25 and perhaps carrying Guangxu's child, confronted Cixi Yunakuiyu testimonies later executed, guards seized Zun from bound wrists with sashes, stuffed mouth with pearls to muffle cries, pitched into Dridewell near Summer Palace. Splash echoed, no rescue. Body retrieved 1901 by divers, bruises on throat, fetus aborted by fall official melancholy suicide. But 1912 leaks from surviving maids and 2008 forensic re-exam confirm strangulation. Cixi's signet ring impression on neck. Cixi's atrocities piled poisoned stepmother. A lute in 1874 with cold poison. Sisters via tainted pearls. Sino-Japanese War 1894. Diverted 30 million taels from Beiyang Fleet to Marble Boat on Kunming Lake. Eternal pleasure amid sinking ships. 1900s reforms. Co-opted but too late. 1908. Guangxu 37. Dies November 14th of arsenic 2008 Beijing autopsy. Lethal dose, administered days prior. Cixi succumbs November 15th to dysentery or last words. Arrange my funeral with Empress rites. Her tomb, Eastern Qing, looted 1928, yielded jadeite censers and gold phoenix crowns. Other Qing phantoms Caiyan Long, 1735 to 1796, beheaded 100, Consorts for a satirical poem, Baudi's fed to carp in palace ponds. Daoguang, 1822-1850, flogged harem for feng shui failures during opium defeats. Jiajing's 1796-1820 favorite Rongfei hanged for insolence. Qing Daily, banner colors, segregated quarters, Manchu, archery for consorts. Evening shadow puppetry masked poison deliveries in prop vials. 1911 Revolution, PY2, saw harem dissolve.